Good morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so excited about this. This is really the beginning. We're launching our website today. This is our launch video. And speaking about the beginning, let's go back to the beginning. Not the beginning of the world, the creation story, the story of Adam and Eve, but rather the beginning of the Jewish people, the story of Abraham, or Avraham in Hebrew. Avraham, one of the most important characters in biblical history. One of the most important characters in human history, in fact. You would think that the Torah would tell us the story of Avraham in great detail. A true biography starting from when he was a young child. What is it that prompted him to embark on this journey towards spiritual meaning? What was it that prompted him to leave what was going on in the world around him and instead commit himself to this ethical monotheism? In fact, be willing to sacrifice everything for his commitment to his principles. And yet, you open up the Torah, and the first time that we are introduced to Avram is when he is already 75 years old. That means he's already been on this journey. He's already been chosen by God to become the father of a great nation. Why? You would think that there is no more illuminating lesson and story that could be taught. The story of Avraham's journey towards spiritual meaning. Imagine every seeker, every person looking for something more in their life. They could turn to this story and find incredible guidance. Yet the Torah says nothing of it. If you ask me, I believe this to be one of the most blatant, one of the most obvious omissions in the entirety of the Torah, in the entirety of the Bible. But upon further reflection, I think this makes a lot of sense. Because if we would have told the story of the journey of Avraham, then people would have ended up looking towards the journey of Abraham and trying to imitate that very path that Abraham took. When in reality, that would have been a huge failure on the part of humankind. Because our purpose in this world is not to become another Abraham, but rather to look deep into ourselves, embrace what is special and unique about each one of us, and allow that to be channeled, allow that to fuel us becoming the best version of ourselves. We are supposed to live our own lives, not the cheap imitation of the lives of others. So of course, we have the 613 mitzvot there to guide us, acting as a rubric for us to live meaningful lives. But ultimately, we're supposed to bring our own voices, our own colors, our own language, and who we are at our very deepest essence to the table. And that is when we are living a life at the highest of levels. And it's not just about us living the best version of ourselves, but giving others the room to experience and to discover the best version of themselves as well. To help cultivate and nurture the very best in every individual, not forcing on others to live lives that do not belong to them. That is what the message the Torah is teaching us when it comes to the story of Avraham. I'd like to share with you a quick story. This takes me back a few years. I was sitting with my mom looking at childhood photo albums, and we found a picture. This picture was obviously from my 5th birthday party. And there were a bunch of friends sitting around in a circle. And all of the other friends, all of the other children were dressed normally, exactly appropriate for what you would wear to a friend's birthday party. But then there was me. I had white face paint on. I had little drops of blood painted onto that white face paint. I was wearing those fake teeth, those sharp fake teeth. I had a widow's peak drawn onto my forehead. I had a cape, and I had Dracula's medallion around my neck. And I turned to my mother, and I said, "Mom, what is going on here? This is obviously not a costume party because no one else is in costume. Why am I the perfect depiction of exactly what Bram Stoker was thinking of when creating Count Dracula?" And my mom turned to me and said, listen, you fell in love with Dracula when you were 5 years old. You always wanted to dress like him. It made you so happy. It made you feel so good about yourself. So how could I possibly say no? It may have looked strange. It may have been hard to explain to some of the parents that asked me about it. But how could I have said no? And that is exactly the point. The point is to find who you really are, and also to allow others the space to find who they really are. Because it's only when everybody is bringing what makes them unique to the table, what makes them unique to the world, that our world becomes that beautiful painting, that beautiful symphony that was envisioned upon its creation. Thank you so much for listening, and remember, live your own life, not a cheap imitation of others. Have a great day.